Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming back and hanging out. So, today's topic is pretty much going to be film and book, a little bit of both, particularly into the horror genre. So, if you're like me, I kind of have this endless pursuit to say for film knowledge. I want to watch and consume all the commentaries. I want to watch all the behind the scenes interviews, anything I can to get an idea and a look into the production of movies that I love, right? And I've always been that way. There was a point in my, I guess, film knowledge life where like I was rewatching certain releases just to watch bonus features and stuff, right? So for me, it's very, very important to read and to learn more about the movies that you love. And I don't think there's really a limit or a reason why. I think it's just an endless knowledge, right? And we love this stuff so much. I think it's really important for us to just consume and to learn and to grow and to keep all that stuff kind of stored away. Maybe one day we can come on here and talk about it like a bunch of cool nerds, right? But I kind of want to show. I have a little pile. I just have 5 of them. Some kind of like book movie combinations for you guys. So I have 5 movies, 5 books that accompany those movies, and a little bit of variety here. So some of these are scripts, like the screenplays. Some of them are behind the scenes. There's a little bit of variety here, but I will link everything down below if it's still available. I know one of these are pretty hard to find, but I'll link everything down below if you're interested. They're all at a good price, and these are all reads that I would encourage you to seek out, right, if you're interested in the movie themselves. So to kick it off, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite films of the last, 5 years. It's become a staple of mine for Halloween. It's become one of my favorite horror movies. And I'm talking about Haunt, right? This was directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. This is a haunted house. A group of friends get invited to this extreme haunted house. They find out that the haunted house facade is not all this is, and that there's a group of people inside actually looking to kill them, right? Pretty simple premise. Great villains, good, smart filmmaking choices. It's just a good horror movie that screams Halloween, right? It's become that quintessential Halloween movie for me and for many others. Well, a couple years after this came out, after this came on Shudder, we got this. Now, this is the Haunt Screenplay and Filmmaker Diaries. I got this on Amazon. I think it was like $20. It was a little less than $20. But this is such a great read. So inside here, we have the screenplay, right? So I just want to get to the... So we have the screenplay of Haunt, which is about 130 pages about. And the screenplay is really, really cool because it has all the little notes in it, all the little annotations. I'm not sure at what point, most of the time for books like these, they are the finished screenplay. So it's not, like the draft before or anything like these are like the finished shooting scripts. But it breaks all that down in here. And then before then, I actually think this is the most interesting part of the book. There is 66 pages of Filmmaker Diaries, which are really cool. So if I flip to some of them, these are actually dated. So they have, Thursday, January 12th, 2017. And it's from the view of Brian Wood. So he wrote this little entry about, just got back from a meeting, embarrassed myself by gushing. Like, it goes into that level of depth and detail about this film all the way to, let's go a little further. So let's go like here, Monday, September 19th, 2019, from Scott Beck. The Haunt premiere was pretty effing fun. Wasn't filled to capacity, but it felt like, given a lively reactions, people dug it. Like, this is just a great insight. There's little photos kind of scattered throughout here. For a movie that I love so much and so dearly, being able to not just read the screenplay, because the screenplay, I think, allows us to give a little bit of a different perspective, right? It allows us to kind of look at things and read a little bit deeper. That way, next time we watch the movie, maybe we pick up on something we didn't before. We pick up on something the filmmaker pointed out in the screenplay, but didn't really show, like, doesn't show as accurately. Just little things that we can pick up on, right? And these little things that help us learn and get so much more involved with the movies that we love. So this is a super, super cool find. But like I said, I'll link this down below. This is still available on Amazon. If you're a fan of Haunt, I would definitely at least pick this up. Keep it as part of your book collection. And then on that same page, let's talk about Jordan Peele, Get Out, right? And not just Get Out, Us. So, obviously Jordan Peele, very, very, very prolific filmmaker. Get Out was his directorial premiere. Us was his second film. We've had Nope, and we have another one coming out in 2026. To say that Get Out changed the landscape of the horror industry is a understatement. This movie just catapulted the horror genre to a whole another level, blew away all expectations, brought a level of thematic storytelling that we hadn't seen in a really long time, and I think it really shook up the industry so much that Zoe Kravitz mentioned how much inspiration Jordan Peele was to her when making Blink Twice, which just came out. So in the short time that he has been in the directing chair, he has made a very, very, very big impact on the industry. And of course, with Get Out, you would expect that there's tons of material out about this movie, right? With how prolific and how much this movie meant to people. And really what we have is this little pocketbook. This is Get Out. This is the screenplay right here. And this little tiny pocketbook. It's a little bit bigger than the steel bookcase here. But this was really, really cool. This was a really cool find that I picked up at Barnes & Noble. So inside of here, there is a little write-up. So let me get in here. So there is a Get Out and the Black Horror Aesthetic written by Tanner Reeve-Dew. That is 10 pages, so that kicks off the book. Notes on the screenplay from Jordan Peele. That's 3 pages. We have 4 pages of credits, and then we have 144 pages of the screenplay in here. And I know it's going to be really hard to see because of my focus, but it's broken down like this. There are little photos in here all throughout. It is in black and white. But this is the full screenplay. And linked with it are tons of photos. Like, here you go. Here's a great example. I don't know if the focus is really going to work all that well, but this is what it looks like. So, and then once you've finished reading the screenplay, which I would highly, highly suggest if you're a fan of Get Out, or if you're a fan of horror in general, read this screenplay. We have 20 pages of annotations. There's also another 20 plus pages of deleted scenes, breakdowns, as well as a full script for the alternate ending as well. So this is a super, super cool addition to have. But I also mentioned Us, right? Well, this just came in just the other day. The same book for Us. Whoop. And these are by, I believe the company's called, who put these out? Inventory Press and Monkey Ball, which is Jordan Peele's production company. Well, first of all, I love the red. Mind you, I just got this in, so I haven't had a chance to look at this yet. I love the contrast of the red and the black, and they just look beautiful together. But in this we have, let's check this out. So we have a 2-page publisher's note. We have a 4-page introduction by Jordan Peele. We have about 150 some pages that compile the screenplay. And then we have another 20 pages of deleted scenes. And then it looks like we have a little write-up in here about the cosmology of the film. So just a bunch of references and all kinds of really cool stuff in here. So like I said, another coffee book, or coffee, like a pocket book. It teams up great with the other. Both of these are available on Amazon. I think these were a little pricey, like $20 or around that point. But if you're a Jordan Peele fan, pick these up. I'm really hoping we get Nope soon enough. That way this can stay consistent. But it's 2 super cool pickups right there. So continuing on with script, I don't think there is anything in this pile more interesting than what I'm about to show you. And I'm talking about Robert Eggers' The Witch. This is my autumn kickoff movie, right? Like, I'm still due to watch this time of year. It's a time. I want my fake fireplace on, I want a blanket, I want snacks, and I want the witch on, right? And along with that, you can have this bad boy. Yeah, this is The Witch Screenplay by A24. And this is an entire series of books that have been released by A24. It's focusing on Anya Taylor-Joy's face. But this thing is incredible. So let's pop this open. These look great, by the way, if you have them all. They're all numbered and stuff, but let's see. So, section 1 of this book is about 130 pages of the screenplay. And the screenplay is in nice big font, if you can see. Very clean pages. There's no images scattered on or anything. It's just the screenplay. We have 24 frames, which is a photo session. So, we click in here. So, these are just random frames from the movie. Sorry, this thing is really big and really tough to handle. That's what she said. We have about 10 pages, which is a conversation between Robert Eggers and David D. Hall. Production sketches takes up about another 13 pages, and then we have a little write-up on the movie. But to me, The Witch, if you've never seen The Witch, the entire film is written in time period accurate sense, meaning everything is written in the language of the time, or so was best researched by Robert Eggers and his team. I believe it was his brother that helped him. So the dialogue in The Witch, typically on first watch, is a little tough to adjust to, a little tough to get used to. But reading it on the page kind of brings a whole nother level. It's why I wish there was still novelizations of this stuff. That way we could get different and unique viewpoints of what's occurring in the movie. But the screenplay to me is just as, if not more, interesting than what we got on the screen. And A24 still puts these things out. These are absolute mammoths. If you can see, it's gigantic. So, like I said, I'll link it down below. If you're a fan of The Witch or any of the other A24 books that they've put this out, I know they've done Midsummer, they've done Hereditary, they've done The Green Knight, they've done a bunch of them. Check these out. These are really, really cool additions to have. So for the last two, switching gears, I'm no longer talking about scripts or screenplays. I'm talking about behind the scenes, right? True in-depth information on the making of movies that we love. And there's no one better to talk about than George Romero. So to me, Dawn of the Dead, one of my favorite movies of all time, right? Absolutely love that movie. Day of the Dead is the masterpiece of the Dead trilogy, though. I think that this is Romero, top of his game as far as storytelling. I think this is Savini's magnum opus of special effects. The effects in this are absolutely insane. This movie is incredible from start to finish. I love Day of the Dead, and I've only come to love it more and more and more as I get older. So for me, having something like this written by Lee Carr is so cool. So this is the making of George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. This is really cool. This has a foreword by Greg Nicotero, which is really good. And let me just show you. Tons of color photos in this thing. There's so much cool stuff hidden in here. And this, the thing that's really interesting here is that it starts off with pre-production and all that cool stuff. But about a quarter of the way into the book, there's a section that starts that's called One Day at a Time. And this is the author, Lee Carr, basically had conversations with everybody who was still around, who was involved in the making of this movie. And he got so much information that he was able to make pretty much a day-by-day journal of what was shot on that day, what happened, what was covered, what was the drama, whatever happened on that day. It break it down. So, like, day one of shooting, I believe this shot for like 52 days. Day one of shooting, Monday, 10/22/1984, day one. Day two, 10/23/1984. And it just goes on and on. Like I said, tons of great behind-the-scenes photos in here. It's all in color. There's stuff in here that, like, look at this photo of Greg Nicotero's head, if it'll focus. Like, just really cool stuff in here. And this One Day at a Time section takes up a majority of this book. An absolute majority of it. Let's see. I mean, I'm going and going and going. I'm still on it. An absolutely just incredible, in-depth book. More information than you'll ever need on Day of the Dead. But it's here, right? And it's cool to have on the shelf. It's even cooler to read, watch the movie, dig through this. Me, I'm a cover-to-cover person, so I read the forwards, the backwards, everything that is in here. I do the same thing with magazines, too. But an absolute incredible making of book for such a good movie. And then in the same vein, let's talk about Sam Raimi and the Evil Dead franchise. This is the 4K steelbook for Evil Dead 1 and 2. But to accompany this, I have Bill Warren's The Evil Dead Companion. And I think of these 5, this is going to be the hardest to find. I found this on, I think, Thrift Books, and it was like $20 or so. And I found this because I was reading the Horror Hound Evil Dead retrospective, which would have been, I think, issue 100. And this book was directly quoted in that retrospective article, and I was like, man, I have to find it. And I ended up it took me a little bit, but I did find it. And this covers Evil Dead 2, as well as Army of Darkness. And just, again, incredible amounts of behind the scenes information, from pre-production, production, post-production, moving into each sequel. Just tons and tons and tons. Actually, kind of like an overwhelming amount of information. Absolutely overwhelming. But for me and my brain, that's perfectly okay. I'm fine with it. This isn't black and white, so there is a bunch of photos in here, but they are in black and white. But yeah, just an incredible read. I mean, I've only read 2 chapters of this, and the amount of info kind of makes me stop. I kind of have to, like, read a chapter, stop, take a little bit, absorb it, maybe read the chapter again. That's just how much information is in this, and the Day of the Dead book as well. Just so much good stuff here. And for me, like I said in the beginning, I'm an absolute nerd when it comes to this stuff. I want to learn anything and everything. Give me all the info. So for me, books like this are perfect companions. I mean, I think they're as important as the movie for people like us who want to read and learn and be bigger fans and support and continue to grow as movie watchers and movie lovers. I think that books are just as important. Information is just as important. Commentaries behind the scenes, interviews, all that stuff, just as important to the experience as the actual movie is. And I know not a ton of people are going to be into this stuff. But for those who are, I just kind of wanted to shed a light on, like I said, 5 that I think are super important. And there's so many more. There are so many more. We have more. There is probably a laundry list of these books that are hard to find, are out of print, old, like, it's just absolute crazy amount that one day I hope to have. And there's still so many books to come. Like, so many movies are getting the companions or retrospectives or write-ups, all kinds of cool stuff, right? So I think that this is an under-discussed side of, I think, the horror genre, but the genre filmmaking in general. So, and just a question for you guys, if there's any of these books that you have read that you love and that you enjoy, make me spend my money. Let me know down below. That way I can buy them, and I'll talk about them maybe on a future video. But outside of that, I hope everybody enjoys your kickoff for spooky season. I've been loving all the spooky season videos that everybody's been putting out, all the other content creators on here. So make sure to go check all of them out. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. That is @BeardedFilmGuy. Same exact name as this YouTube channel. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later.